The sun is rising over the mountains of southern Spain, casting a golden glow over this clear February morning. There's something magical about waking up in a place like this. The crisp mountain air, the deep stillness that settles in your bones, and the unhurried rhythm of life that feels just right. Every day on the road is different, but some mornings and some places stay with you. If you're new here, hi, I'm Jessica, and I live in my wooden camper van Bilbo with my partner Rissy and our adopted puppy Heidi. A year ago, we decided to leave our old lives behind and spend all of our savings on a second-hand van, which we converted using reclaimed and natural materials. Since then, we've been travelling around Europe in the slow lane to reconnect with nature and grow roots in the wild. Hello friends! We are currently parked in the beautiful mountains of southern Spain, and we're still about in the same area. We're still in Valencia and have moved a little bit south now. We're kind of hanging around in this area because we're meeting some friends this weekend. And then next week we'll be busy filming a van tour, which is long overdue, and we're really excited to share it with you all. And yeah, this whole area of Spain has just been an absolute dream for van life. It's been so easy to find beautiful places to park. There's lots of beautiful hikes and really varied landscapes as well. I always used to think of Spain as really dry, but there's so many beautiful rivers and lakes and really lush forests once you travel a little bit more inland. So that's been really nice to explore. So right now we're overlooking the Guadalest Reservoir, which is this beautiful turquoise lake. And our plan for today is to drive down there, rent a couple of kayaks and paddle across the lake a little bit. Now, Rissy is currently in the cab and doing some research on whether we can actually get there in a van. So this plan is still very much TBC. We're hoping that we're going to be able to get down the very small and narrow road there. But if it doesn't work out, we're just going to go on a hike around the lake instead. So we'll see what happens next. We've been taking things quite slow this morning, letting the sun climb high in the sky. So we quickly heated up some leftovers from last night and set off to the beautiful lake we had seen in the distance. Getting there was quite a bit of an adventure in itself, and we actually ended up having to park Bilbo in town because the tiny alleyways were far too narrow for us to squeeze through. Luckily, the kayak rental owner offered to come and pick us up, and soon we arrived by the most beautiful lake with crystal clear waters. Heidi isn't the biggest fan of water, and she was a little bit unsure about the kayaks at first, but she quickly warmed up to them and she had a great time clambering about and balancing while we paddled around the lake.
Heidi, are you an adventure puppy?
She did get a little bit nervous whenever Rissy and I drifted apart a little bit, and eventually she decided to take matters into her own paws.
Heidi, come!
Oh no. Can you grab her? Because there's nowhere for her to swim.
Alright, I think that's enough.
Heidi just fell in the water.
Well, she kind of jumped.
Yeah, she jumped in the water and then she realised she had made a mistake.
Now she's a bit wet and shivery, so we're going to go back.
Yeah, oh, poor darling. After our adventure on the lake, we made the most of the remaining daylight and went on a stroll in the pretty town, which was very quiet and completely surrounded by mountains, creating a cozy atmosphere in the hazy afternoon sun. are back at our park hub and Rissy is making dinner, and while he does that I'm gonna go down the hill here and gather some wild rocket which I spotted the other day. So today is our last day in this area because tomorrow we'll be travelling back north to spend some time with Rissy's friends, and then we'll be parking by a lake in the middle of nowhere to focus on filming the van tour. And yeah, we saw that there's 2 beautiful waterfalls in this area. So our plan for today is to drive there and explore because we really fancy going for one last wild swim before we move on to the next area. When we arrived at this walk, we felt immediately transported into a fairy kingdom, with little waterways following the path, gentle sunlight reflecting off tiny waterfalls, and little trees that were shaped like forest creatures. It felt like we had walked into a corner of Rivendell, and we were absolutely enchanted by this place. We couldn't resist swimming in one of the waterfall pools, and we got a lot of strange looks from locals. But to us, the mountain river felt beautifully mild and refreshing. We are back from our walk and we realised that there's actually another waterfall walk here in the area just 20 minutes from where we're parked, which looks even nicer than the one we've just been on. But today has just flown by and it's already late afternoon. So I think we're going to be a little bit cheeky because we're parked right next to the Tourist Information Centre. I think we're going to try and stay the night here. We saw on Park 4 Night that a few people did stay here in the low season and it was super quiet. So we're hoping to get away with it. And in that case, I can do the waterfall walk first thing tomorrow morning before we head back north to see our friends. For now, while Rissy is getting some van jobs done, I'm going to make something that's inspired by something I read in the almanac. I'm gonna try and make a blueberry crumble because apparently blueberry cake or blueberry pie is something that's traditionally made in February, usually with blueberry jam, but we do have fresh blueberries here in Spain. So yeah, that's gonna be a nice little sweet treat. In Celtic traditions, the festival of Imbolc marks the midpoint between winter and spring, a time of renewal and warmth returning to the land. While blueberries aren't in season in many parts of Europe at this time, their preserved forms would have been used in winter baking, creating comforting foods like blueberry cakes with butter and milk. On days like this, I am grateful that we've got a massive sink. Good morning. We had a lovely quiet night and got away with parking here, so now I'm gonna go on a little morning waterfall walk. I'm not going to lie, this walk ended up being quite the mission. After a couple of hours, I decided to walk back to town where Rissy and Heidi joined me, and eventually we found a very obscure and treacherous path, which led us along a tiny river on an abandoned concrete path. After a few minutes, we did actually find the secret waterfall we had heard about, but unfortunately it was completely dried up. So we just got here, but sadly the waterfall is dried up. At this time of the year, the waterfall is supposed to be quite lush. It has been very dry, so it might also be that. The main path used to be up there at the top of the waterfall, and I guess where we just walked also used to be a path, but it's just been completely abandoned. Yeah, a bit sad that the actual waterfall isn't here because you can tell that it would be absolutely gorgeous if there was running water here.
Right, the water is still fairly nice, but if there was more of a flow, I bet the water would be gorgeous as well.
That's just what happens sometimes, I guess. If you enjoyed this video, leave it a like, and if you haven't yet, do subscribe for more van life adventures, how we live more sustainably on the road, and the wild foods and folklore we encounter on our travels. I hope you have a lovely week ahead, and we'll see you next time. Until then, take good care. Bye.